a Playlist original.
Hey, what's up? It's your host, Tori, and who is ready to be petty? Welcome back to another episode of RTBP. I'm so glad you're here. Today, the girls from Honestly join me. Logan and Zoe are here, and we talk about some really fun stuff. So I hope you enjoy. A few things right off the bat, just some updates from some previous episodes. Rihanna had her baby. I know this is like fucking old news, but we did talk a lot about her pregnancy style and her pregnancy announcement. So I just wanted to follow up. She's given birth to a boy. The real drums, honestly, of this story is that a nurse from the hospital apparently posted that she had gone into labor and had the baby, which is like so inappropriate. I like can't even imagine. And then, no follow-up from her. And then I was just thinking about when Kirsten and I talked about Rihanna's pregnancy announcement. We also talked about how she was at Target holding up little dresses in like the quote-unquote girls section. And she had a boy. So I wonder, do you think she did that on purpose? Do you think she, I don't know, didn't know the gender at the time? Who knows? Another thing is the Jersey Shore, I don't know why I said the Jersey Shore. Jersey Shore and The Hills, that's probably why, are getting reboots on MTV. Does this interest people? My, 2000s heart is happy. The cast of Jersey Shore put out, a joint statement saying that, they're kind of using them. But I was like, I feel like a reboot or using the premise of the show and what they essentially created, I guess, make money. But I'm like, I feel like you all should be really happy because your show's not popping, and I don't know anyone that watches Family Vacation. I think I watched the first 1 or 2 seasons, and that was just enough. So I feel like they should be happy that there's a reboot and maybe see if there's any way that they could get some involvement. I don't know. What do you all think? Or do you think that they just think that they were magic, they were randomly thrown together, and any cast now would be kind of fake? I have no idea. And then The Hills, I'm also interested because I think they're promising a more diverse cast, which is really interesting. There's that famous Heidi quote when someone asked her, essentially saying that the show is so white, but they were asking about diversity of the cast, and she's like, well, there's blondes and there's brunettes, so there's enough diversity that we need, and you really, really, really can't make that shit up. But yeah, I'm also curious because I think, again, the beauty of Laguna and The Hills are that they all did hang out together, or they had at least some connection to each other. Whereas, and same with Siesta Key and shows that do popular now, Selling Sunset, they all worked together, so they all knew each other. And the people that have been introduced, like Emma, knew Christine before and stuff like that. So I'm just curious about how casts will do, when they're randomly thrown together, or will they find kind of an organic friend group? Will they strike gold like Jersey Shore, or will it be, I don't know, a little lackluster? So I'm excited for that. Let me know if you're excited too. 2 more things before we get to the meat and potatoes of this episode. Dumois, we've talked about her, I think vaguely on the show. We haven't done too much about Du, but her identity was revealed this past week in kind of a small, I think indie newsletter or Substack. I don't know if they're indie. Sorry, I had never heard of them. So it was really interesting. I won't spoil it for you, but there's tons of discourse online right now. But I'm going to be doing a full deep dive of Dumois, her history, rise to fame, her controversies, and then her identity reveal, etc. with Shannon from Fluently Forward. We're recording I think in like a week or two. So that will come out like early June, mid-June. So I will be covering it on the show in a few weeks. And then the last thing is when I was talking to Maddie about Bridgerton season 3, I don't know why I said this because I totally knew that this wasn't right. But spoiler alert for the books, Eloise doesn't end up with Theo in the books. And I'm not going to tell you who she ends up with because it is Jew say, but I don't know why I said she did. I don't know, was in a fugue state, question mark, but I'm kind of sad because I like them, but maybe this will turn out better. Who knows? I haven't been let down with Bridgerton so far, so I just wanted to correct myself on that. Also, I've heard about one more Easter egg on TikTok from season 2, looking forward to season 3. And it was that in a few scenes, Penelope is specifically wearing blue and the Featherington household color is yellow and the Bridgerton household color is blue. And what do you get when you mix blue and yellow together? Green. So, yeah, I'm so excited, just to find more Easter eggs like that as we probably are waiting for a long time for that season to come out. Okay, enough about me. Let's get to the episode. Here is my conversation with Zoe and Logan. I'm back with 2 very special guests, Logan and Zoe from the Honestly podcast. Logan, Zoe, how are you two?
Great. Happy to be here.
Fantastic. Couldn't be better.
Good. I'm so glad. I feel like, we were just talking about this, but I feel like this has been like a long time coming. I feel like your podcast is one of the first like indie Canadian podcasts I listened to.
Oh, that's so exciting. We love that.
I know.
It's so fun to find other Canadians like in the space because I feel like whenever you're looking at the Lady Pod Squad kind of thing, it's like America, and then you spot your fellow Canadians. You're like, yay.
Yes. I feel like people don't get it because Canada is obviously like a well-known country and like it's a big country, but I feel like people don't get that like in the media and stuff we're like not represented.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was like talking about how anytime you see any reference to any like to Vancouver, like whatever, like I was in Vancouver this past weekend and I walked past the hotel that was the exteriors for the Tipton.
Oh my God,
yes. And I was like, oh my God, like this is amazing. People don't get the like, I don't know, joy it brings us.
Mm-hmm. Or when we spot Toronto in like every movie being like, oh my God, it's supposed to be New York, but I know where that is. Like that's here.
Yeah.
All the
you
time.
see like the shoppers.
Yeah, exactly. In fresh.
Yeah. It's so funny. Tell the listeners a little bit about your podcast.
So we have a podcast called Honestly, and we kind of cover everything from like pop culture, internet culture, basically whatever we want to talk about.
A lot of YouTube.
A lot of TikTok.
Historians of YouTube.
Some might say, yeah.
I would.
Yes. I feel like when I first reached out to you two, I was like, we should talk about YouTube. And then none of the topics we landed on were YouTube.
I feel like this week or the last couple of weeks, like they've not been giving us the drama that I came for.
YouTube is like, kind of in its flop era right now,
It
I
is.
think.
It's like Trisha Paytas, Gabby Hanna, they're all acting like too fine.
They're too normal.
It's too stable for my liking.
Like, yeah, they're just like mentally thriving.
And I'm like, oh,
wow, how dare they?
How dare you be doing well?
Honestly. A lot of our topics kind of like intersect, so I'm excited to just like get into what we're going to talk about. The first thing on the docket is I'm calling it Courtney's real wedding because she fooled us twice, but third time's the charm. Her and Travis, I don't even know why I'm explaining this. Anybody who is listening knows that they got married in Italy over the weekend. And when I was prepping for this episode, I was like, I'm going to do so much research about like the location and like whatever. I literally didn't do any, but I feel like I still know every detail about it.
That's what happens with Twitter. Twitter just gives you the tidbits you need. It feeds into you.
Yeah. Even today, I was on Instagram and I saw like them cutting their cake. And then Kim and Chloe were like yelling at Chris to like get off the stage because she was like blocking the photographer's shot.
Sounds right.
And I was like, I feel like this is again like just too many like intimate details that I know about this fucking wedding. Zoe, what did you think of like the outfits, the aesthetic, the decor, everything about it?
I just find, like, maybe this is personal, but I'm just kind of like, I love like the celebrity like opulence thing, but with them, it just feels kind of boring at this point. It's just like, I would be more impressed if you just went to like City Hall and like did your wedding like that. It's like, okay, it's opulent, you're Kardashian.
Yeah,
you know, it's kind
that's
of
what.
it's
Oh,
expected.
go ahead.
It's just like, okay, we're doing this.
Totally. That's why the Santa Barbara, the second wedding, I was kind of like, oh, this is different because like they didn't make a big deal about it. And then someone was like, oh no, they're going to Italy. Like they're in their private jets right now. I was like, oh, okay. Like we're doing it.
And the portions of the pasta.
Oh, yeah. That
That's
is
important.
blowing up today.
I just saw that and I was really, you're so rich and you're giving people like a fork full of pasta. Couldn't be me. Couldn't be me. Would not attend. Rescinding my invite.
I really am hoping it's because it was like a 20-course meal.
Mhm. I hope.
I'm assuming
I
it
hope.
was because spaghetti. It was like literally one slurp.
It was on a giant plate too, which made it look even smaller.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that was the worst part. And Logan, what did you think about it?
It was interesting. Like, again, I agree. I think like the opulence of it, it's kind of just like, okay, expected, like whatever. The whole like Italian Catholicism of it all, I was like, is this really important to the two of you? Like the last time I checked, I didn't think that they were, you know, Italian, but more power to them.
They have deep Italian
I
roots.
love that. It just kind of felt like they saw like House of Gucci and just like were a little too into it.
Father
And
son,
House of Gucci. It was just like, it was an interesting choice, I think, for two people that aren't Italian.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so true. I didn't even think that. It's so fucking random now that I like, yeah, because it was all like Catholic symbolism, really like Italian, like even like textures and like prints, patterns. It was what is being called co-branded by my favorite MJ Corey of the Kardashian account at Kardashian_colloquium, which was just like also so interesting. I just feel like the Kardashians, like, they just love to, like, not give a fuck about anybody else or, like, about public opinion.
That's exactly, well, and it's like, why should they? Like, they've never actually faced any real consequences for anything ever. So they're like, yeah, we'll just collab with Dolce & Gabbana on our wedding and it'll be fine, despite the fact that they're horribly problematic.
Like,
So
so are
bad.
we.
Yeah,
Maybe it's a match made in heaven, like.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's truly it. I think the shocking part with me, so if people aren't familiar with Dolce & Gabbana, like Gabbana, sorry, I'm gonna get canceled over that, a faux pas, but they are an Italian fashion house and extremely problematic. The two creators, especially I feel like Stefano Gabbana, which like honestly feels like a character in like the Lizzie McGuire
I know,
movie.
what a name. What a name.
When I said that out loud, when I was typing this out, I was like, what the fuck?
Like, that can't be right.
I like
be right.
triple checked. Like he has said that IVF babies are like synthetic children, which like the
Crazy
Kardashians have
opinion.
used IVF. I know, I was like, what?
Whoa.
Like, okay. And then has used like racist motifs in their designs. You can find all of this online. It's literally on their Wikipedia page under like the controversy.
I'm
headline.
obsessed with whatever like celebrity organization, anything you scroll down, you see controversy, you're like, yes,
It's gonna be good.
that would be good.
Yes, I really do just like scroll down to that.
All you need to know.
Personal life and controversies. Yeah, and I don't know. I always tie it back to like Kim, like this week on the Kardashians Hulu show, was diving into her work with prison reform in the American justice system. And then in the same breath, her family's partnering with this fashion house who perpetuates racist like stereotypes, etc. So it's just this irony that I don't know, keeps me going, I guess. Like, keeps this podcast
Running.
in business.
Yeah, like, amen for that.
Like, oh my God. But they have received backlash, but again, it'll blow over in like a few weeks.
You know, like, they're Teflon, nothing sticks to them. And I mean, like, no, I think, like, just like with them, no matter what, they just want people talking about them. I don't think they care if it's good or bad necessarily. They're like, as long as our names are in people's mouths.
And they will be constantly.
And it's like I don't even, like, it's been a while since I've like literally kept up with the Kardashians in any like real way. Like, I used to watch Keeping Up. I used to watch like Khloe and Lamar. Like, there was a period of time where I was very into them.
Yes.
Haven't done so recently, but I feel like they will always come up in conversation. Like, my mom and I will talk about the Kardashians for like 20 minutes. And it's like, how did we even get on this topic? It's like,
everything goes back to them.
it does.
Yes.
As much as I don't want it to, I just like can't avoid it.
I know. I feel the same way. Do you think that this, because again, Dolce & Gabbana has had kind of this backlash. Do you think that this was one of their ways to, like, the Kardashians get like free designer clothes and like tons of looks from like the archives and stuff, and then they get to rehab their image? Like, do you think it was just like a match made in controversy heaven?
It feels like it.
Yeah, it really does. It feels like kind of the perfect pairing, actually.
Yeah. It's because I feel like both things are such a big force of their own. So I feel like nothing will really ever come of any controversy with either of them. So it's if they band together, it's like rehabbing everyone's image at the same time.
Exactly. And I feel like Dolce & Gabbana had already been kind of like worming their way back into, like, I don't know, not the zeitgeist necessarily, but like they've been dressing more and more celebs for events recently and kind of trying to be like, no, like we're
good.
Here, we're relevant, we're good. And I feel like this is just kind of like the cherry on that like cake or whatever, being like the Kardashians.
Yeah. And like their wedding, like that's the other thing.
Major.
It's like, it's not just like the Academy Awards or something, or even the Met, like it's their fucking wedding. So wild. The other point that MJ Corey. Sometimes I always get her confused. I feel like I've said this on the pod, but like MJ the grandma.
Oh, yeah.
I'm talking about like the therapist / like influencer, like / like academic, not Kris Jenner's mom. Like, but she was kind of making comparisons of like the divorce between Kim and Kanye being like weirdly sponsored by Balenciaga, and then like the wedding is now sponsored by Dolce & Gabbana. So like, do you see more of these like partnerships happening with other celebs of these like major events where they know they're going to get photographed and everything's going to be detailed?
Yeah, I think it's like inevitable at this point.
Yeah. Well, what was your favorite look from the weekend, Zoe?
I actually really liked her veil. Even as like it was kind of tacky, but it was like tacky in a fun way where I'm like, oh, that's kind of cute. So I really liked the veil. I thought that was really good.
Yeah, I agree. I think like Catholicism in general is kind of tacky. And like I can say that as somebody who grew up like Catholic adjacent.
Catholic school.
So it's like I appreciate that, like kind of like the over the top like gaudiness of it. But yeah, just like there weren't really like a lot of looks to choose from in terms of like what my favorites were. Like I was like looking through all the pictures and I was like, okay, like come on, like there's gotta be one.
Yeah.
But it was Slim Higgins.
Yeah. I definitely agree that the veil was like the star of the show. I do think we're gonna see like a swing from like minimalism coming from like literally like the tackiest person in the world.
I'm wearing like a bedazzled like Juicy Couture sweatsuit right now. Like I am no one to like turn my nose up at tackiness.
We love it.
Yeah, like I'm like from like the least stylish person. Like I do feel like we are seeing like a swing from minimalism to this like over the top maximalism, which they're just like again kind of dictating those trends. But the veil was my favorite part. It was inspired by Travis's like skull tattoo.
That's such a choice. Everything about that. Having a skull tattoo, first of all, that's a choice. Modeling your veil after said tattoo, it's all bold.
It's extremely bold. It was just like weird because when you look really closely, you're like, oh, that's like the actual shape of his head on the veil.
It's also like, I don't think I would have noticed that if they didn't say it. Just like, it's just like a lot of ink. I don't think I ever really was like, what's on his skull? Let me get a closer look.
I kind of wish they didn't tell us that.
Yeah.
It kind of takes a little bit away from it.
Yeah.
A little bit.
It really does. It really does. What about the short look dress? Like I was going to say Chloe. That's Courtney's like full look now. All 3 weddings or whatever. All of her dresses, even at the reception and stuff, were all short.
It just feels to me, it's like the MGK Megan Fox of it all, where I just feel like a lot of people are like playing dress up. That's what it kind of feels like. It's like, oh, what would be like edgy? Let me wear a shorter dress. That's the vibe I get from it.
Yeah, I thought like the short dress was cute when they did their little thing in Vegas.
Yes.
So I was like, okay, like little like chapel wedding, that's fun. And then she did it again. And then like I thought for like the like real wedding, I was like, okay, she's gonna like come out dressed to the nines in some like gorgeous like long wedding dress. And then she didn't. And I was like, okay, like go off queen. Like
Yeah.
You do you, I guess.
Yes. Yeah, I could have bet on that for sure too. I was talking to a listener and we were both saying that it was like shocking for us, but then when we really thought about it, it's like they wear ball gowns all the time.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's like not super special for them. So I'm like, you could do that, like wear a short dress, because it's like, well, next week I could be in like a couture gown.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very House of Gucci, like the sunglasses, the veils, and like headscarves and headpieces, and the gloves, and like that weird silhouette that like Kendall was wearing that I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. That's all I have to say.
It's just, like, it felt too much like a theme party to me. Like it felt almost like Met Gala-esque, where it's just like, here's the theme for the night and everybody has to stick to it. And it was like, it just felt a little costumey.
Yeah, that's so true. That's a really good point, actually. Yeah, and when like the table settings and all of the like the event itself was in that theme too. It was a lot.
Yeah.
It was really in your face. Nothing was subtle about anything.
Yeah. No, like Chloe's headpiece.
Yeah. That, I mean, like the headpiece was kind of nice, I guess, but I'm also like, all right.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Like, I'm like, no one is seeing, like, if someone's seated behind you, they're just not watching the ceremony.
The shortest person in the room.
Literally.
Yeah, because she's already so tall.
I was gonna say, yeah, she's like the tallest out of all of them. She towers over them and she's like, let me just wear this giant, like, headpiece.
The whole time I was just thinking, like, her fucking headache that she's, like, enduring. Their commitment, like, I will say, their commitment to, like, the look is something I just don't have.
Oh, no, definitely not.
Within me. Yeah, like,
just as seen.
I admire it, but I cannot relate.
No.
I really can't. Like, I wore sandals to, like, a night market this weekend, and I was like, I am brave. Like,
I am strong. Yeah. I am important.
Because I didn't wear like sneakers. Like it's really sad.
No, me wearing leggings every single day, talking about what the Kardashians wore to a wedding. Like literally holes in my pants, and I'm like, anyways, it was tacky.
Yeah. I'm in a full gray suit, like no bra. So I get that. Okay, but that was like another piece that I found really interesting because we saw so much content. At some point, there was someone live from, like, on TikTok from the wedding, just, like, streaming. Like, and I was tuning in. Like,
of course. You have to.
Yeah, but, like, it's so different from, like, Kim's, where we was, like, obviously no cameras and shit like that. But this was just, like, a fucking free-for-all. Like, it was so weird. Just to get it in real time.
It's so bizarre. I mean, like, I guess on one hand, I kind of expect nothing less from them at this point. And especially, like, the Travis and Courtney relationship has been so highly publicized since, like, the beginning. It's like, well, I guess it makes sense that people are just live streaming from your wedding.
like, what a world we live in.
It reminds me of was it Tana Mojo and Paul, one of the
Jake
Paul.
Their wedding being like an event.
Yeah, like you can pay $50 to watch the live stream. I'm not joking. I considered it.
Oh, no, very much
us too.
That's true. There
But
was a
we're like, it
conversation.
will trickle down to us eventually, so we just gotta sit back and wait.
That was a low point in my life. Like, I was really like $50 US, and I was like,
these hands, waiting.
No, like there was serious contemplation.
yeah. Oh my God, so dark. Okay, the last thing I kind of wanted to chat about was like, there's been so much discourse about who wasn't there online. Like, people were shocked that Scott wasn't there.
That makes like not even an ounce of sense.
I'm obsessed with that. Like, I want to like walk me through that. You know, like people who are shocked that he's not there. It's like, what part of that is shocking to you? That like her ex, like not even like ex-husband, just like ex-boyfriend, like long-term boyfriend, wasn't at the marriage, like at the wedding of her now husband. Like, what is weird about that?
It would be weird if he was there.
Yeah, like
Yes. It was, but like I saw multiple tweets and like articles about it.
Sometimes I think people just want to discourse for the sake of having discourse.
Yeah.
They're like, my point, let me bring this to the table. And it's like, okay, maybe think it through for a
like,
second.
wow, isn't that crazy? It's like, not really.
Yeah.
Not even a little bit.
Someone I thought that was crazy, like that wasn't there, that is crazy, is Addison Rae. Because her relationship and like friendship with Courtney has been just like the only thing that she had going for like 2 years.
It's so that's still so weird to me.
Like,
yes,
as two people who sat through He's All That and sat through Courtney's painful cameo in that film, I am shocked that Addison wasn't at the wedding. You don't go through a filmmaking experience like that together and then not go to the wedding.
And throw it all away.
100%. And it's like, oh, maybe she had another commitment. And then I saw like a paparazzi picture of her at Century City Mall. I was like,
she was booked and busy.
It was more important.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Like, I was like, okay, interesting. Corey Gamble, Kris Jenner's partner, wasn't there. Pete Davidson wasn't there, but he was closing out his time at SNL. And then Tristan Thompson, Chloe's ex, also wasn't there. So that was probably for the best.
Yeah.
For everybody.
Yeah, for everyone involved.
I think so.
Okay, moving on. We wanted to talk about, we were on the same wavelength when we were putting this outline together. John Mulaney, who I don't think I've talked about on this podcast since the Rehab Baby scandal, which like, yeah, okay, so this just all like tracks, seriously. Yeah. So John Mulaney was doing a show in, I think, Columbus, Ohio. He invited Dave Chappelle onto stage to do like a small set. The audience didn't know, like it seemed like it was kind of spontaneous. Dave Chappelle, known transphobe, made more transphobic jokes. Shocking. If people aren't familiar, he said trans women aren't real women in his Netflix special, which was supported by Netflix. Like the CEO was like, well, it's free speech, so he can say that. I'll just leave that there. There was no footage because I think it was like maybe like a taping or something where people couldn't have their phones, but lots of queer and trans audience members were rightfully expressing their outrage and concerns on Twitter afterwards. So yeah, what do you think about this whole situation?
I think we're just like witnessing John Mulaney's like descent into like chaotic evil. Like he started at being like such like a wholesome comedian. It was just like a lot of people were like, oh, the small boyification of him. And then it's just, we've watched it just go completely off the rails.
Like just full goblin mode.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so true. I feel like we should have seen this coming because I feel like lots of, like soft, left-leaning white boys are like this.
It's never good. It's never good.
We don't learn.
Yeah.
We don't learn. It happens every time.
Literally. The saddest part was like the audience was laughing at all of the jokes. And it was like 12,000 people, and just thinking about how gross that is, how unsafe that is for folks that were there. And apparently, I haven't checked today, but when I wrote this last night, he hadn't like made a statement or anything.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen anything.
No, unless something has come out like while
At
we're recording
press
this.
Yeah. Honestly, knowing this podcast, that's happened
Always.
because every time I record and then go on my phone, it's like, oh, breaking news.
Yeah.
I'm like,
We'll
thanks.
hang up and then it will pop
Yeah.
up instantly.
Yeah. Literally. Yeah, where does John Mulaney go from here? Like, I really do think he is, losing the plot line real quick.
I just think like Zoe and I were having this conversation the other day, and it's like, I just am so curious. I'm like, has he always been like this and he was just really good at hiding it before? And now that like his public image was already kind of like taking a beating with like the rehab baby of it all, that he's just like, you know what, like let me just go like balls to the wall, fully lean into it. And it's like, yeah, I'm a terrible person.
Yeah.
It's like, all right.
I don't think he can get back the audience that he had before all of this.
No.
I think if he's moving forward, it's with an entirely new set of people. And I think it's going to be like an entirely new brand of comedy, which I don't think is like true to where he started. Like, I think it's going to go places we don't want to see it go.
Yeah. I feel like because his brand literally used to be like, I love my wife. Like literally.
He was a wife guy.
He was a wife guy. Like that was his brand. Like he has like a whole bit on it. And now I just feel like he's like really entering like I hate my wife territory. Like that typical like straight male quote unquote comedy where it's just like, oh, the old ball and chain. It's like, why do you hate your wife so much?
Why is that funny to you?
No.
I know. Oh my God. Yeah, that's actually like a really good point of like the new audience thing, because that's what Dave Chappelle is doing. That's what Louis C.K. is doing. Like, there is blueprints for him to do that. So why, like, wouldn't he?
It's so insane to me to, like, fully just, like, blindside your audience during a show. Like, I'm sure most of the people there wouldn't have willingly given money to see Dave Chappelle, like, especially now. And it's like, I saw so many tweets like the day it happened from trans and queer people in the audience being like, great, I had to sit around like the row in front of me and the row behind me laughing at a joke about my existence. And I had to sit there quietly scared for my life. And it's like, that's not what you want from a comedy show. Like, you shouldn't feel unsafe going to see someone you like paid to see.
Yeah. That's horrible.
Yeah, so gross. And yeah, like, what do? Do you try to leave? Is that gonna like put you in an unsafer situation? Like, yeah, it's all around gross, and I hope that it doesn't. I'm sure it will, because it's the fucking news cycle, but like, I hope it doesn't get like swept under the rug. And yeah, that they're like held accountable. Time will tell. Only time will tell. The next person I wanted to talk to you about is Halsey.
Yes.
Which I like straight up don't think I've ever talked about Halsey on this podcast.
I love that. I love that we're just like
we're
the
here
first.
For Halsey.
We have such a long and complicated history with Halsey.
17 Black, I think you mean.
Because there's two people who were like very on Tumblr during like our One Direction era. Like, we're all too familiar with Halsey.
Yes.
We know.
Yeah.
We know her.
I'm like, literally, can I name a Halsey song?
The Haler song.
That's my number one.
That's the number one.
Unreleased
Haler song.
I think that's the only
one with the chain smokers.
Oh, yeah.
Other people we wouldn't be able to pick out of a lineup.
Yeah, truly.
People, like, honestly.
Any two men on the street could be the chain smokers. We're like, sure, maybe. Could be.
Oh my God. So this is like, I feel like an interesting concept, but Halsey posted a TikTok being like, I have new music, and I'm pretty sure the background was like the new song. And then she was like, but my record label like won't let me release it. They want like a viral TikTok moment, like blow this up and like I'll release it or whatever. But then Claire Parker from the Celebrity Memoir Book Club podcast like stitched this video, and someone else on TikTok or on Twitter, I'm gonna get their handle because I do want to give them credit, at Allure Gaga.
Ooh.
at Allure Gaga 2.
Not one,
it
two.
It was taken.
Maybe this is like their backup account. Like at Allure Gaga 1 was like taken down for reasons we won't get into. But they posted like 4 examples of other celebs doing this, basically throwing the music label under the bus, possibly being like fake, like kind of like baiting their audience into giving them views and to make a viral moment before their song is released. Like, is this actually like a new marketing strategy?
I think it has to be.
It feels so like it feels like you'll get so much attention, like faking outrage for something your record label is doing to you, that it's like, is this the ploy? Like, do you want us all to watch this video of you and go, oh my God, poor Halsey, and then we're watching the song?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's what it is. It has to be. I did see though today on the way here that Charlie XCX had tweeted in regards to that and was like, not me though. I just like to lie for fun. Because she made a similar video, but then was like, I'm just lying.
That's so funny. Yeah, because it was Charlie XCX, Halsey, FK Twigs, and then who's this other person?
I think it was Florence from Florence and the Machine.
Yes. Yeah.
I couldn't think. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah. It's so fucking weird, but Halsey seemed like especially fake.
Yes.
But again, like if you're not like critically thinking about it, you would just like scroll and be like, oh, that sucks, and then like move on. Or if you're like a diehard Halsey fan.
The stands are jumping to her defense.
Imagine being a diehard Halsey stan.
I just like don't know how they exist.
Like
it feels fake.
It does feel fake.
No, like if there was ever an industry plant, like it is Halsey.
Yes. She reminds me of like Rita Ora of like you're everywhere, but also
How?
like
like how are you everywhere?
Rita Ora. Oh my
like
God.
I also cannot name a Rita Ora song.
No, but see, I can. I went through a huge Rita Ora phase in university. Like
this is the 1%.
Whatever her stands are called, that was me.
If Rita Ora has one fan, I am one of them.
What's your like squad like? It's like your army, like the Rihanna Navy, like
what's Rita
the
Ora?
Little Monsters. Yeah,
what are Rita Ora stands called? They're just called Logan because I'm the only one.
The like orinators or something.
I honestly think it is something like that.
Oh my God. Well, but I do think so. Yeah, I think this is a new marketing tactic, which again is just like, of course, preying on the poor consumer. But I also do think a lot of music is changing to be like more like shorter in length and viral lyrics. What do you two think about it? You cover music where I'm like out of my depth here. I'm like, what like you do cover music way.
We cover 5 Sauce because we're mentally ill.
Yeah.
And
that's all that fucking matters. Like
that's
there's no one else. You don't have to cover anyone else.
I feel like especially the Halsey of it all, like playing the song in the background, I feel like that's going to be a lot of their marketing ploys going forward. It's like, oh, this video, I'm just doing something, but my song is playing in the background, or like little things like that, like Stitch singing my song.
Well, and it's like, I feel like there are so many songs that like I've only heard on Lizzo's new song about damn time, time, whatever it's called.
Yeah, about downtime.
Like,
yeah.
Like, that's the thing. It's just like people come up with these dances and it goes viral, and then the next thing you know, there's like 17,000 videos on my For You page with like this one clip of the song. I had not heard the song in its entirety until like 2 days ago. But
I haven't still.
But I felt like I was like, oh, I know this song.
There's a Sirius XM station that's all TikTok. Like it's just songs that are featured on TikTok. And that to me just tells you like everything you need to know about the way music is going. Like the fact that there is enough for there to be a station that plays like 24/7. How?
That's insane.
That's so wild to me. I like feel like I've heard one of those songs like say at the mall or whatever, and I'm like, singing the part that I know, and then all of a sudden it's like
Blank.
the next verse, and I'm like, I've never heard this.
Like, oh, this keeps going.
It
Who
wasn't
knew?
5 seconds.
So weird. Oh my god, the world is so fucking weird right now. Like,
So cringed.
I feel like just if someone from like 20 years ago heard the sentences we just said, they would be like, what are you talking about?
It's so insane. And I feel like TikTok has like convinced me I like music
Yes.
that I don't actually like. Like, again, I've had this conversation with Zoe before, but like TikTok convinced me that I like Jack Harlow because the songs of his that I heard on TikTok are like catchy, and I was like, oh, I like these. And then I made the mistake of listening to his new album, and I was like, oh, maybe I don't like Jack Harlow.
I was wrong, and I can admit it. Like, my bad.
That's so funny. There has been, like 3 weeks when First Class went viral on TikTok that I was like a stan, and now I like fucking hate him so much. Like, I hate him so much. Yeah, like I was like, oh, he's like super cute and like flirty and fun and like stuff, which like I guess. But then I was like, no, he's so fucking, like, generic.
Yes.
But I listened to his album. Like, let me tell you, like, I don't even think... So, like, I listened to Taylor Swift's album, like, the day it gets released. I didn't even listen to Harry's House, which we're going to talk about next. But I listened to fucking Jack Harlow's.
Like, literally, it was a priority for me.
Wait,
I was like,
it's out.
Drop everything. Gotta listen to the new Jack Harlow. And it was... like the most forgettable album I've ever listened to in my life.
I liked one song, like I saved it on my Spotify and that's it. And it wasn't First Class, it was like another one, but I listened to it this weekend and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot that this happened. like, oh, I blacked that entire album. Like, music is supposed to like move you, and I like literally just like
it moved you onto someone else's album to just forget that.
Like, I forgot that it existed. Like, straight up. So, but yeah, 100%. TikTok convinces me of a lot of things. Like, I don't know if you're on the, like, ADHD, like...
Yeah. Oh, big time.
Like, I'm neurodivergent.
Oh, yes.
Like, apparently now.
Yes.
Like,
everything I do, I'm like, oh,
yeah,
that's ADHD or autism.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Like,
yes.
Every day. Every day.
Every fucking day.
And it's just like the
so
most
weird.
basic things. It's like, oh, you put your dishes in the sink. ADHD. It's like, what? Isn't everyone doing that?
Right?
Yeah. Sometimes I'm like, hey, this is like a stretch because you're right. It's like the most mundane thing. It's like, do you shower before bed? Like, you clearly have like sensory issues.
Diagnosed ADHD. Like, I guess I do.
Yeah. Oh my god. So weird. Like, I know that it actually has been helpful for some of my friends, but like I have also just convinced myself I have all of this.
Everything possible. Every disorder, every sort of ailment.
Yeah.
People will come on. I'm like, yeah, got
them all.
Got it.
Got it. Okay, speaking of music, Harry's House came out this weekend. What are your hot takes?
I really wanted to not like it. I feel like I've been having like personal beef with Harry recently.
We have a vendetta.
Why?
Now.
Oh my god, okay, spill the tea.
Okay, so like our close personal friend Harry Styles. No, I just feel like, okay, so this is literally just like a personal vendetta that we have. Like this, like no one cares about this.
I like only have personal vendettas. It's okay. Like, you don't have to explain it. You're on ready to be petty. Like,
you know what? This is us being petty. So like before the pandemic, like literally like the week before COVID like shut the world down. We got tickets to Harry Ween, which was supposed to be
title for a concert of all time.
Which was supposed to be like Harry Styles like 2-night Halloween theme show at Madison Square Garden in New York. We were like, you know what? Like, let's be crazy. We'll like go to New York for a few days.
Dress up.
It'll be so great. Then the pandemic hit and it was like, LOL, everything's been shut down. Everything's been rescheduled. So it got postponed to 2021. And so we're like, well, surely by then the world will be in a better place and we can go.
Narrator. They were
like, LOL.
So then like we get to like end of summer 2021, beginning of fall, and the world is not in a better place. We thought maybe briefly it would be, and then it was very much not.
Hopeful for like a second.
We had a second of hope.
Yeah.
And so we're like, okay, well, like, surely he'll postpone it again because, like, there is still very much, like, a pandemic ravaging the world right now. And then he just, like, didn't postpone it. And we're like, okay, well, I don't know if we're, like, down to just, like, fly to New York and, like, be in, like, a room of, like, 30,000 people or whatever. I don't know how many people.
It's probably way more than that. Yeah, it's probably literally way more than that.
But so anyway, we basically had to like make the executive decision, the like responsible adult decision to not go, and it was deeply painful, and I didn't appreciate it. So that was strike number one
for Harold.
Yeah.
Actually, maybe strike number one was the whole Olivia Wilde of it all, and like
yes,
it's not that I don't like them together. It's just that like I love Jason Sudeikis, and so seeing him heartbroken over Olivia Wilde was like a hard pill to swallow.
Again, personal vendetta.
And I blame Harry for that.
Yes, it's his fault.
Yeah.
So we've just been like feuding with him for like 2 years.
It's just like, it's very one-sided, but it runs deep. It runs deep, and we're angry.
And then he just like canceled all of the like Canadian dates for his Love on Tour.
Yes. Yes.
Like, okay.
I know. I don't think he's coming anywhere. Like, he's not coming to Toronto.
He finally added dates. He's coming to Toronto for 2 nights. Those are literally the only Canadian shows that he's playing.
But in comparison to how many is Madison Square Garden?
Oh yeah, he's playing 15 nights in a row at Madison Square Garden. He's playing 10 nights in a row in LA, and then like 5 nights in like Chicago or something like that. And then Toronto, which apparently equates to all of Canada, gets
it always does. It's Toronto or Vancouver gets 2 nights. Wow, that is so shitty. I didn't really follow that, but yeah, now I remember he did do it because he was dressed up as Dorothy.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, so that's the show that you would have been at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm glad you made that decision though. Like, truly that is the right decision, but yeah, that's brutal.
Because we can like control what we're doing, right? But like if we go there, like the people around us could not be wearing their mask properly or like at all. So it's like, I don't know if it's like worth the risk as much as we wanted to go. It was like, fine, Harry. Yeah, I guess we'll see you another time.
Like, okay, you win this round. But yeah, so all of that had kind of made me like mad at him. This person who doesn't know me. So I really wanted to not like the album just on principle. I was like, I'm over it. I'm over my Harry Styles era. Yeah, no, I'm not, because the album's really good.
Pulled right back in. It's like very different from both the first and second albums of his, but it's like, it's really fun. Like it's so much fun. Funky.
Yeah.
Funky.
It's very funky. And like, you're right. It is very different, but I'm like happy about that. I haven't actually listened to the whole thing. I've listened to maybe like 60%. I was planning on doing it before this recording, but then I was listening to that one Jack Harlow song, like, I guess. Like, I don't know. But what I have listened to, it's really good. Speaking of Olivia Wilde, there was rumors like 2 days ago that she could be pregnant. Yeah.
We were seeing so many tweets, but like people reacting to the rumor, but I couldn't find like the source of the rumor. Yeah. Like it was just like someone decided. Oh, you got it.
Yes. Okay. I'll send you. I have the picture, which is like, it's always like fucked up. Like because then you look at the picture and then you're like, like scanning someone's like entire body. Like the whole process is, I don't feel good about it. I just will say that. But yeah, I saw the picture and I was like, she could be literally wearing a baggy t-shirt. Like,
right. It's always just like a woman existing. Yeah. And it's like, oh my God, she's pregnant.
I know.
Slight tummy.
Yeah, there was like no definitive. I was like, oh, she's like literally just wearing like a t-shirt with some like mom jeans, but like
sounds the alarm.
Yeah, she's like leaning against a wall, like slightly stooped over, and people are like, deaf pregnant. Like there's no other,
God
there could
forbid.
Be no other reason. Yeah,
God forbid her posture isn't perfect. Pregnant, she's slouching.
Yeah, God forbid she wants to like live in some comfy clothes and
can't do it.
Yeah, so but it would be like really interesting if if she actually was pregnant. I still like feel like their relationship is fake.
It does feel very put on, and then I'm like, are we like layering the situation? Like, are we like, okay, she's not real. It's actually what Eleanor is actually
and Tina.
I know, but I'm such a Larry truther.
I feel like there's a lot of evidence that can't be denied.
It can't be. It's like the Kaler and like Swift-Gron, like
Very that.
it's as legitimate as those theories.
Absolutely.
Like they're fact for me. So
That's just true.
I don't even call them theories. But then I'm like, maybe why I think it's fake is because the only pictures we see of them together are usually like where they're wearing sponsored, their own branded clothes, or they're at like Olivia, like something for Olivia's work.
Yeah. Or his concerts.
Oh, and she's
Yeah.
dancing.
The dancing.
Yeah.
I've never gotten the ick quicker in my life than watching her,
Do her
a
interpretive
grown
dance.
woman, dance in a pit of teenage girls to her boyfriend.
Yeah,
Oh.
it was so cringy. And like for someone who's like so fucking cool, I'm like, I didn't know it could be this cringy. Like everyone's
Yes.
embarrassing.
It's painful.
I pulled some lyrics from the songs I did listen to. Obviously, As It Was is like the lead single from the album. Some of the lyrics from this song. I don't want to talk. I'm not gonna sing it, by the way. I'm gonna like spoken word it.
We'll snap through it.
Because like I've sung way too much on this podcast. No one needs to hear that again. I don't want to talk about the way that it was. Leave America. 2 kids follow her. I don't want to talk about who's doing it first. Like I don't feel like
It
that
feels
can't
pointed.
be not interpreted. Yeah. Like that's not Olivia. Like,
It's just too on the nose to be anything else.
That's
It's
exactly
like-
it.
It's like, are we doing that?
Just come out and say it,
Just
you know?
say it.
yeah. Because there are lyrics, like he had that big interview with Zane Lowe and he was like, oh, some of these lyrics I pulled from like friends' experiences and stuff like that. It was very like Taylor with her folklore album. But like this, I was like, she has 2 kids. She's from the US. Jason Sudeikis, like.
We can put 2 and 2 together.
Your daddy lives
Yeah.
at home alone or whatever it was.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, Harry, you already took the man's wife. Like, let's
He's already
reel it
dead.
in. Like, let's just take it down
Just
a
kick
notch.
him while he's down.
Yeah, like, that's targeted. God.
Fucking brutal. The other one that I was thinking about in cinema, I just think you're cool. I dig your cinema. And obviously Olivia Wilde directs movies.
The song is so good.
I-
And it's so, like, sexy. And it's like, I don't want to think about
It was such-
That it's about Olivia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was so hard to listen to the album, like knowing. I was like, oh god,
knowing
damn
what
it.
we know. We can't be the same.
That's so true though. Cause you're like, I don't want, okay, sorry for bringing up Taylor again. I don't, like, I'm in a mood, I guess. But like that was like with Joe Alwyn. I was like, these can't be about him. Like,
This
like,
guy? I don't
yeah, like I just don't
Her?
believe
Like
it.
the Arrested Development.
Yeah.
Her?
But I guess possibly it is. Oh, who would you like pair Harry up with if him and Olivia broke up?
Fantastic question.
It's a hard one.
It's a hard one.
Louis.
Yeah. I'm such a Larry shipper.
I feel like we actually talk a lot about who Harry dates because we're just like, it's just so boring. It's just like, oh, you're with a model. Like how cool of
Good
you.
for you.
So just, I don't know.
Yeah, I'd like to see him like shake things up and
Yeah,
like
not date like a blonde model.
a tall, blonde, thin model.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know who I would specifically, yeah, other than Louis. Like, I don't know who I would want him with, but I don't know. The Olivia thing, it never resonated with me.
No, definitely not.
Harry and his older women. It's just
Yes, yes.
a
a
running,
recurring theme.
running theme.
Yeah, 100%. I listened to this podcast about a Bachelor contestant. Can't remember her name, but she went on a date with Harry when he was like still in the band. He was 20, like this was a while ago. And yeah, she was older, and I think we've kind of put him on a pedestal. I'm gonna put it out there. I think we've kind of put him on a little bit of a pedestal.
Mm-hmm. Big time.
Yeah, and like I'm guilty of that for sure too. But yeah, the story, I was like, oh, he sounds so fucking normal. Holy shit, like so fucking normal.
Celebrities, they're just like us.
Yeah. Okay, we are now at the part of the show where our guests nominate a Pettyweight Champion of the Week, who is someone in the media who did something petty, and we enjoyed it. Who are you folks nominating today?
Okay, we're nominating makeup artist Bobbi Brown because there was...
Oh my god, just wait. If you're bringing up what I think you're bringing up, I'm so fucking happy.
Okay. So, again, we are very entrenched in the world of TikTok, and there's this TikToker, I think her name's Meredith, I could be wrong.
I can't think of the last name, but it's definitely Meredith.
And she is, like, I think, like, a self-proclaimed makeup artist. Like, I don't know if she has any sort of, like, formal training, but that's fine. She does these, like, fun little makeup TikToks, and that's great. And she was using this new product from Bobbi Brown's, like, new line called Jones Road or something like that. And it's, like, this little, like, foundation balm sort of thing. Meant to be, like...
Balm being the keyword.
Meant to be, like, very light coverage, you know, just kind of, like, your skin, but better. And this Meredith girl, like, literally, like, scoops her hand into the product and, like, smears it on her face. And then is like, it just doesn't work for me.
And then is trying to spread it with the brushes and sponges too. And it's like, she put it on thicker than you would even put on like a mud mask. Like it was just like, even for something you're supposed to put a lot of on your face, like,
no, it was
that
insane.
Was too much.
It's like the scene in Mrs. Doubtfire when he like puts the pie on his face and then like, it was like that level of like product on her face.
Like it's not,
and
it's
then
not
like
working.
It's not rubbing in.
Like, it's not working. And then it's like an oil-based product, I think, and she's using like a sponge that's like been soaked in water, and she's like, it's like lifting off the foundation. So anyway, like she got a lot of like flack for it, and everybody's just like, maybe try using the product properly before you just like tell your millions of followers that like it doesn't work and like it's terrible. And then Bobbi Brown herself decided to clap back, as the kids say,
as the kids are calling
and
it.
made a TikTok basically like mimicking Meredith and like just put a bunch of it on her face, and she's like, it doesn't work. And I just thought that was so brilliant because
so
like, I don't know, it's just like you or TikTokers like that who do stuff just for like clicks, which I mean like is everybody, I guess, but it's just like, especially the makeup ones where they're like, let me just use like half a bottle of foundation on my face just to get people to click on the video.
And that's like very much that Meredith person's like MO. Like every single video that she has, it's just like, how much money are you spending on foundation is what I want to know, because it's like a squirt and it's like half the bottle on your face.
It just
you don't
like,
need it. You don't need
so
that much.
No.
So anyway,
no,
we stand Bobbi Brown.
And like also like I didn't know that Bobbi Brown was like an actual like I kind of just thought it was like
just the brand name.
Yeah, or like that they had like passed because it's like a really old company or something like that. So I was like, oh, you came out of the woodwork for this. Like, love
which
that
made
for
it
you.
So much better too. It's like I've never seen you, I don't think.
No, like,
and then it's like here you are to like speak directly.
Like it's not
about
like,
this product.
It's not like she's like Norvina from like Anastasia Beverly Hills, who's like everywhere and like very on social media. It's like Bobbi Brown, I think, very much just like does her own thing, keeps to herself. But like even she was like, let me get on TikTok for this one.
Yeah, that is so iconic. That's such a good nomination. Yeah, it was so weird because you're right. She like globbed it on her face. Like it was probably half the container. Yeah, it was so wild. Did you two ever use Maybelline Dream Matte Mousse?
A classic.
We've all been
the
there.
Horror that just like it was like a solemn like
an understanding was a trauma bond.
It was very much that vibe, and I was like, I think I'm gonna stick to my like serum, like my my tinted serum. I don't think I want to go back to something that looks like Maybelline Dream Matte Mousse, but yeah, it was absolutely ridiculous. Like, in no way was that like a normal amount or like a normal video, but the way that it dominated my For You page,
oh my god, yeah,
it ruined my TikTok experience for like 3 days. And I was
everything.
like, I'm not watching the fucking videos. I watched the initial one, I watched the clap back, and I think I watched like one other one. And I'm quickly scrolling, but
like, I got it.
Not quick enough. It was everywhere.
Yeah, it was like all anybody was talking about.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, I mean, like, maybe there's something else going on.
I don't
that
think we need everyone's like stitch and duet on it. Like, I think we got it.
And it's like, at the end of the day, like, everybody's just kind of like regurgitating the same thought. It's just like, wow, that was a crazy amount of product to use. It's like, yeah.
We all see it.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, and it was like, if you look at, just like he said, if you look at her other videos, you can see that she puts, like, just an ungodly amount of foundation on her face. And like, people are like, it's fake. Like, she edits her video, like, she clips them all together, she wipes them off before she like reveals the final look and stuff. I'm like, fuck, like, it's not that serious.
No, that would be so much work.
Like, truly.
To like put that amount, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's just too much. You're doing too much.
Way too much. I follow like a pretty small, like, they probably have like, I guess, I don't know if this is small in the sense of the word. Like, I don't have 20,000 followers on TikTok. I have 0. But like, I follow a makeup artist that has like 20,000. But like, in the grand scheme of TikTok followers, that's very small. Mm-hmm. And he was talking about like how he like overnighted some makeup to make a TikTok and like paid like $50 in like express shipping. And I was like, how much money are you making off of this fucking app?
Wow, it's wild to me.
Or like this disposable income. Like, I haven't bought new makeup in years.
Like, literally, even if I was like getting all things that I needed and the shipping in general was $50, I would be like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's like someone's making a snap decision to get something to them quicker, and it's like, anyways, I paid like $150 in duties.
Oh my god, that's insane.
Oh my god, yeah. I'm the type of person that will like stock my card up for like $200 and then it's like $6 shipping.
Yeah,
I'm like,
no, that's too much.
Just pushing it.
Like,
we have to draw the line somewhere.
Yeah, like, and this is it. Like, yeah, or like I paid for shipping on one item probably for the first time in like 5 years, because it's like you can usually get free shipping on something, and I was like, this is like a hardship.
Like, we've been through a lot, and this is gonna send me over the edge.
Yeah, like, God. Oh my god, so funny. That is such a great nomination. I think that's it. Anything else that you two want to chat about before we wrap up?
Oh my god, I feel like we covered some really good ground today.
I think so.
Yes, agreed. So like, kind of random topics if you put it like all together, but I guess that like, that's just the news cycle.
Yeah, honestly, and that's like our bread and butter, just like putting together like random ass topics.
Yeah, you're like John Mulaney. I'm like, sure, let's throw it in with this Kardashian. Like, yeah. Okay, can you tell the listeners where to find your podcast and like any other socials you want to plug?
We're on things. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Cast, Potable, other places. It's a very weird world, this podcasting business. We don't know where we are, but if you're listening, hey, we're there.
Yeah.
We're on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok. We've made 4 videos. A grand total.
I'll follow.
4 videos at HonestlyPod and Facebook.com/HonestlyPod. Mm-hmm. And we have a website, which is the honestlypodcast.wixsite.com/home.
Don't forget the /home.
Don't forget the /home, because you will not get anywhere. It will just be like error. Error. Go back.
That is so funny. But your website is beautiful. All your graphics and stuff are really nice. Thank you so much for coming on. This was so much fun.
Thank you so much for having us. It was so fun.
Welcome back anytime.
Yeah. We're just going to come on every week. We'll never leave.
Yeah.
We'll come back with more topics about John Mulaney.
Yeah.
5 Seconds of Summer. We'll get them in there.
We'll be your resident 5 sauce correspondents.
Yeah, I do want to cover more 5 Seconds of Summer on this podcast. Like, truly.
We're your guys.
You just let us know. We'll be here.
We'll be ready and waiting.
Okay, I love that. I need to get into like 5 sauce like fanfic.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
I couldn't agree more.
Oh my god, so many things I gotta do. I gotta look up who Bobby Brown is. I gotta
Find another Jack Harlow song.
Yeah, I need to look up a Halsey song, and then I need to look up some fanfic.
You're busy.
All in a day's work. And there you have it. Thank you so much for listening. And thank you to Zoe and Logan for joining me on today's episode. Before we close out, I'm just going to discuss Summer House, the 2-part reunion a little bit. Just because I covered season 6 a lot, and at Jackie Monstream asked for my thoughts. So here they are. I think I put this on Twitter too, and it again is kind of already like passe, but I think it was like absolutely disgusting how especially the women, it seemed like Paige and Sierra specifically, and Amanda, sorry, Paige, Sierra, and Amanda were weaponizing Lindsay's miscarriage as a reason that she can't have casual sex with fucking randos. I was shocked and appalled at this behavior, especially in today's climate where the right to choose is like in peril, especially in the United States where these folks are from, where this show is filmed. So it was just so gross. Just because you have a miscarriage, like, you doesn't mean you have to like stop being a sexual person. It also doesn't mean like we don't process trauma the same. And I think it's so unfair, just the way that they were treating her. I have mentioned this before, but I work in violence prevention. And one thing that we talk about a lot is like there's no perfect victim. And I know that this isn't like she wasn't abused or assaulted or anything like that, but the concept still holds true where something traumatic happens to you and your response might not be what, you know, is kind of even portrayed in the media or what a person might expect. So you might expect crying, but some people might laugh. Some people might shut down. Some people might like disassociate. Some people might want to carry their lives on like nothing happened. People process things on different timelines. Just because you might react to something differently or expect the person to react differently doesn't mean that that's going to happen. And sometimes we don't know how we're going to respond until something happens traumatic, like something traumatic happens. That's because, you know, like our limbic brain, our reptilian brain takes over, and, you know, like our executive functioning kind of gets put on the back burner. And yeah, I don't know what they expected from her, to be like mourning or to like not want to have sex with people, or I have no idea. So here's the thing. I think that people can also, when they're affected by trauma, engage in risky behavior, which can be like maybe a form of self-harm or a coping mechanism or like punishing themselves or something like that. So when it is different from their like baseline behavior, someone's baseline behavior, so say like, I don't know, maybe they don't hook up with randos and then all of a sudden they're like having sex a lot or whatever. And you're like, oh, this is like kind of out of the norm. Maybe you check in with them. But when it's not any different than how we've seen Lindsay for the past 6 summers, it's fucking rude to continuously ask her how she's doing. And I think that a lot of people, like, I don't know, if people say that they're fine, I think you should just take it at face value. It either means they don't want to talk about it with you. Maybe you're an unsafe person like fucking Paige and Amanda, or maybe they don't want to talk about it at this moment. Yeah, or maybe they haven't processed it themselves. I don't know. But like, I just think that you should take that at face value. And it was so annoying that they just couldn't understand that she was okay. And she said, like, I have coping strategies. I'm in therapy. I've decided to take this summer and I'm choosing to do what I want, which is have I forget what she called it, like whatever version of hot girl summer she was choosing. So it's like she is saying exactly how she's coping and you're still not taking it for what it is. So that was just really annoying to me. I think it really stood out in this reunion that Paige is a fucking mean girl. Lindsay is definitely not perfect. She, I think, can be a little inconsiderate of other people's feelings, but it doesn't mean she can't sleep around. And I don't know. I don't know. I think it's all been kind of said. I think that Paige honestly is jealous that Carl and Lindsay are the it couple of Bravo right now, when I think she thinks it should be her and Craig, and that's just never gonna happen. The other things from part 1 that stood out to me, how just Luke is literally non-existent. In the COVID season of Summer House, I was really starting to enjoy Luke. Not that I didn't enjoy him in season 4 either, but yeah, I was just so sad at how little he was shown on this season, and then like how he like didn't talk in the finale. Same goes with Alex, but I feel like he's just not made for TV, which it's like we know Luke can make good TV. We're just not really seeing it. The conversation with Danielle and Sierra, super sad. Obviously, it is hard to hear like that Sierra didn't reach out to Danielle when this aired or like when they had finished taping, but Sierra is also new to the TV show and like how it all works. And well, I guess, I don't know, maybe that's not true. She has filmed another season of Summer House and Winter House, but like I feel like sometimes you just like don't know what the I'm assuming I'm talking like I've been on TV. I feel like I wouldn't know what the etiquette is when you're done filming the TV show of like, do I reach out to this person, but we're not really friends, but we're coworkers and I did something that I should apologize for and want to apologize for, but like, what's the move here? And Paige and Amanda are probably in her ear being like, you don't have to do anything and save it for the reunion and like all that shit. So yeah, that was just kind of my thoughts. Carl's dick size. Okay, so I don't think that... Yeah, I think it was like unseen footage. He was like, I have a 6-inch dick. Sorry, I started talking about this and I was like, why the fuck am I talking about this? Did he say 7 or 6? I don't know. I didn't write it down. Did anyone else pull out a ruler and be like, is that like abnormally large? But I like feel like it's actually like pretty standard. So, okay. And then Austin, I feel like he is just the grossest human being. Apparently he told Maya that she belongs less in the Summer House than he does, when she was like, literally, why are you here? When he was being like such a fucking jerk off to Sierra. I just feel like that's really racially motivated and fucking gross. And I don't get his appeal at all. And I'm just sad we didn't get to see, Sierra like ream him out, or like literally anybody else in this season. So I guess we will see him on the newest season of Southern Charm and Winter House. Okay, part 2, there was so much unseen footage, even in part 1, and I'm just like, okay, the nipple thing with Lindsay and Andrea, and then like the sexy car ride and like all of that shit. I'm like, or even Amanda and Lindsay making out. It's like, why didn't we see that on the show? Like, why did you cut those moments when it was way better than like fucking Amanda and Kyle complaining about like the little fucking wedding shit that they had to go through? Like, couldn't I have seen that versus them like mailing their invitations? It's so frustrating. We found out Sierra hooked up with Austin afterwards. She got a lot of flack for this, and it's like, Yeah, obviously that was a bad move. Do you think she like felt good about that? No, but I feel like everyone has, you know, gone back to someone who, even though they've treated them like shit, and like I just feel like, I don't know. I feel like we should give her some grace about that. Everyone asked, or Andy asked everyone about Kristen Cavallari hooking up with Craig. And basically everyone said that that was real. So I'm just so confused because Kristen is saying that it was fake and that he was using her name to get into the press. They also haven't been hanging out recently, I don't think. So tell me if you are team Craig or team Kristen on this. I like kind of feel like they did, but then I also don't see Kristen as like a liar, and I fucking hate Craig, so I'm assuming he's a liar. So I'm not too sure about that. Another Dumois mention on Summer House. She is just getting so popular, and she's just constantly in mainstream media. I wish that Craig and Austin were there to not give their sides of the story. I don't care about that, but like to apologize or like take accountability for some of their gross behavior. There was like that hot mic moment where Paige and Amanda and Sierra were talking when they were taking a break, and yeah, they said that Lindsay was like manipulating Carl, and like how Amanda was kind of like, well, Carl works for us, insinuating like he should be on our side, which I feel like is more manipulation than whatever Lindsay's doing. And it's like, no, he's sticking up for his girl, and he's also like friends with like more friends with the OG cast members. Like it makes a lot of sense that he would be sticking up for Lindsay. And then a few other things. Alex talks about racism in the Summer House and just what he experienced at parties. Kyle says stuff like, I can't believe you bottled that up. And I'm like, okay, Kyle, like, I appreciate that he understood the gravity of these microaggressions that Maya, Sierra, and Alex spoke up about this season, but saying stuff like, I can't believe you did blank when someone is experiencing discrimination or oppression is like, eek. Like, it's like, you can't believe it because you are never in this situation as a straight white cis man. And yeah, I don't know. I didn't like love that, but just, yeah, so grateful that the cast is like speaking up towards this. The other thing, like Sierra, Maya, and Alex were just talking about how like those interactions are so commonplace for people of color that it sometimes doesn't even register to them to speak up about it to their white friends. It just got me thinking about racial weathering, and how, which is basically just like the accumulation of microaggressions and other, not macroaggressions, I don't even know that's a word, but like discrimination or problematic behavior wears on people of color, and just how gross that is. Like that it can not only impact your like general well-being, but like shave years off your life. And then the last thing I want to mention is the conversations about prenups. It was just really interesting that all of the women stuck up their hands when Andy asked if they would sign a prenup, and then none of the men did. So I don't know. I have no further commentary, just a little seed to think about. Other just like Summer House news right now. Apparently Craig got kicked out of Amanda and Kyle's wedding for like being like belligerently drunk. And apparently since it was at Amanda's parents' house, they had set up outside bathrooms, like kind of like porta potty situations, and they said to the attendees like, just the wedding party in the house, because like there's 100 people here or whatever, so it's like we don't want 100 people in our house in our bathroom, but the wedding party has, you know, all of their belongings and like can use these bathrooms. And apparently he like was going through their house and trying to use the bathroom and stuff like that. And again, just like shows you how like entitled he is. The other thing is the florist that saved the day for Kyle and Amanda is apparently on Winter House, which again just shows you how like, okay, so that florist, like your florist dropping out was probably fake as fuck. It was staged for you to find, quote, I'm doing air quotes, a new florist, and then she just happens to be on or Winter House. Like that is so fucking fake. Like it is so annoying. But with that being said, I actually loved the florist. She seemed like a lot of fun. Sorry, I didn't write down her name because again, this was like 2 weeks ago, so I don't remember it off the top of my head. But I'm actually excited for her. But just like this fake setup is like kind of annoying. Summer House was renewed for season 7. Kyle Cook obviously was on the Hollywood Raw podcast, and he was giving a lot of behind the scenes of the show, its creation, Lover Boy, etc. And it was really fun, so go check it out. He also alluded to taping something in the UK for about 2 weeks. And I saw on Twitter that I think it's a new CBS show is coming out, like a competition-based one. I think it's kind of like The Challenge, but there's tons of like Survivor players, Big Brother players, Bravo people. So it's going to be really fun. I definitely want to talk about it on the pod. Last but not least, because this is like a 20-minute outro, like who the fuck am I? Hannah Berner from seasons 3, 4, and 5 got married to Des Bishop. I think her wedding dress was like fine, but I loved her like reception dress. She also did really cute clothes for her bachelorette party. And she's not like, I don't want to say she's not trendy or anything. She like dresses simply, and like I never like loved her style, but I thought she looked really good and really stepped it up for her wedding. But the other thing that was mentioned on the Hollywood Raw podcast with Kyle, but I also saw all over Hannah's social media, and I didn't know this, but the guys on Hollywood Raw were asking Kyle, did the fallout between you and Hannah, was her advertising or being sponsored by a competitor seltzer brand part of your falling out? And I didn't know that there was that drama, because I thought it was just like Hannah was talking shit about the cast on like podcasts and on the house and like that kind of shit, and like maybe the Luke stuff, but like I didn't know that she was sponsored by a competitor seltzer brand. But then I went on our Instagram when I was creeping all of the wedding content, and she is sponsored by Truly and is doing like cute little commercials and, you know, reels and shit with them. So I wonder if that was, again, more kind of BTS that we didn't get to see. And it really reminded me of Tati and James Charles, their original falling out at Coachella. The catalyst for her making her Goodbye Sister video was that James did a sponsored post by Sugar Bear Hair, and she has her like something like Halo Beauty or something like that. She has her hair vitamin brand. So I just thought that was like, I don't know, the parallels are just so interesting. Okay, that's it. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, you can follow along with me on socials at RTPP Podcast, as well as liking, subscribing, downloading the episodes, writing a review. Helps the pod find new listeners and keeps my boat afloat. Trust me. I so appreciate anytime someone leaves like a comment or a DM. Someone DM'd me this week and was just like, I'm moving and cleaning and RTBP is like keeping me sane or like something like that. And I'm like, that's fucking amazing, because I get the same feeling when I'm listening to the podcasts I listen to. So I love that so, so much. I love you all so much. I don't say that enough. Anyways, I hope you are safe and healthy out there. As always, I'm your host, Tori, and I'm ready to be petty. See you soon. Bye.